One industry that is back to pre-pandemic consumer spending, bars and restaurants. You got customers happily coming back despite the struggles and slowdowns caused by low staffing. Our Marshall Zellinger explores how dining out is thriving again with 25,000 food workers in our state.
It's lunchtime on a Tuesday, and the patio game looks strong at metro area restaurants.
I go out fairly often just to not only show support for our friends in the industry, but I'm not a very good cook either.
Kip Wilson hosts the podcast Stoned Appetite.
It's a podcast that covers restaurants and cannabis companies here across the Front Range and in the mountains.
Stoned Appetite is a story for another day. We wanted Kip's opinion on dining out after we found out today that spending at bars and restaurants is back to the way it was before March 2020, with 25,000 fewer food service employees.
I don't really hate having to wait a couple extra minutes to get a table or, waiting for the busboy to clear a table. I think we've all learned a little bit more patience throughout the pandemic.
Colorado restaurants alone lost $3 billion in 2020. So just because the revenue numbers seem to be up right now does not mean that they're back.
Denise Mickelson is with the Colorado Restaurant Association, which has had a food service specific jobs board posted through the pandemic.
When you run a restaurant without the right amount of staff, you're either, and this is what our restaurants are doing, you're cutting your menu back, so your customers get upset. You are not seating all your tables, so customers waiting in line get upset. And then the staff that you do have is being worked so hard that they burn out and then they end up quitting.
Based on data collected by the state, spending at Mesa County bars and restaurants never really dropped because of the pandemic, except for March and April 2020. It wasn't until this March that spending reached pre-pandemic levels at bars and restaurants in Adams, Arapahoe, Douglas, El Paso, Jefferson, Larimer, Pueblo, and Weld counties. Boulder hit pre-pandemic spending levels in May. As diners return, the Colorado Restaurant Association asks for patience and kindness through a digital billboard downtown.
I hope that Colorado diners will remember that we still need to be kind and empathetic to our restaurant workers who are working really, really hard right now.
You'll notice I left Denver off of that map. Denver did not get back to pre-pandemic spending levels until June, which is kind of telling. I go out, I'm sure you go out to eat from time to time. At some point, it's not sustainable with 25,000 fewer employees. And I'm sure that the owners of these restaurants, you saw like the temporary work hours.
Yeah.
You got to limit it somehow. Sure, people are coming and spending because they've been cooped up inside. But at some point, maybe it's like, I can't keep going out if I'm going to have to wait, or if the service is just not, sustainable for that business owner.
Customer frustration, plus you got to think epic burnout for these employees.
Absolutely. And with 25,000 fewer jobs now, just imagine if you had to do overtime, doubles. You could talk about the Denver Sheriff's Department now too because of this. But that when you're worked harder, you may leave that job, leaving another open spot not filled.
But if I'm trying to picture like the perfect, like super chill, relaxed, not stressed out about the wait dining customer, I'm thinking about Stoned Appetite. So I think that was the perfect choice for that story. Thank you, Marshall.